What's up YouTube, it's Zando's TCG here and welcome back to another TCG deck profile video on my channel. Today we have something that was very highly suggested by you folks, so here we have it, Rayquaza with Naganadel. This is one of my own creations, so hopefully it'll do alright. I actually tested it out a little bit and it actually can compete with the likes of things like Rayquaza, so it actually is quite viable, so definitely try it out for yourself. Of course we have Rayquaza with the Stormy Winds, being able to discard the top 3 cards of our deck, and if we have a Lightning Energy or a Grass Energy in our discard pile, actually it doesn't state that, but we only run the Grass and Lightning Energies, that we can just attach it to Rayquaza. So the thing we're gonna do here is spam Rayquaza, get a lot of stuff in the discard pile, use Naganadel to equip all those energies and get as many energies in play as we possibly can. This is very searchable because Mysterious Treasure searches either Rayquaza and Naganadel, so the deck is very consistent and does the job very well. So if you're interested in the entire list, definitely stick around for more, and if you enjoyed the video and the content, be sure to demolish the like button and let me know in the comment section what you would change about this particular list. Okay, to finish, actually to start this deck list off, we are gonna have 4 Rayquaza. This is gonna be nice. If we start with it, we can always use Tempest GX to get a lot of stuff in the discard pile and go really quickly. We're just gonna spam Rayquaza, and if we get a lot of energies in play, we can even use things like Energy Switch to get them wherever we please. We're gonna be running a 3-3 line of Naganadel. This is gonna be the Poipole with the Spit Poison. We don't need the one from Lost Thunder to check what is in our prize cards, because typically this attack will never be used, hopefully. And then we also have Naganadel here, which has of course a Turning Point, which can be used if we have exactly 3 prize cards remaining. We can dish out 160. That's amazing. That means you can also one-shot things like Mew to a Mew Toolbox shenanigans if they don't have Zeraora GX in play. Okay, we also are gonna be getting that in play thanks to Mysterious Treasure, so that's easy as pie. We're gonna be running 4 Rayquaza and then a 3-3 line of Naganadel. Next up, we're gonna be running 2 copies of Zeraora. Zeraora with the Thunderclap zone will make sure that everything that has a Lightning Energy attached to it has free retreat. Not only does this work with all of our Pokemon that have a lightning, that means we have free retreat over our entire board. We don't need to rely on things like Switch. This also is a neat card if you don't use Tempest GX early game to get a huge hand size. You can also use Full Voltage GX somewhere in the mid to late game, where you just attach 5 basic energies from our discard pile to our Pokemon any way you like, and that will just make sure that Rayquaza can just get that one-hit KO that it wants against those pesky tag team GXs. It also has Plasma Fist if you want to be using that for a solid 160 damage. Then 2 copies of Dedenne. Dedenne is just our consistency booster with DD change. We can just smack it down, discard our hand and draw 6 cards. That's a nice way to get some energies in the discard pile, but also helps out to get some speed along. We just use Rayquaza, get Poipole on board, another Poipole on board, finish the job with Dedenne, get another huge hand size and just get a ton of speed going on. There's even things like Acro Bike in this list, which is fantastic. You might even use the Tingly Return GX from time to time. Then, to finish our Pokemon line, we're gonna be running 1 copy of the Tapu Koko Prism Star, which can accelerate 2 lightning energies from our discard pile. We're gonna be running Shaymin Prism Star, our main fantastic starter. It has free retreat, makes things a little bit easier for us, but also you can energy switch onto it, and that way you can use the same attack, the Dragon Break, which of course Rayquaza GX has. Rayquaza just dishes out 30 damage for every energy we have in play, so that means every lightning and every grass energy. This guy does the exact same thing, so that means it's a Prism Star. You can only use it once, but it's a grass type and only is a 1 prize attacker. And then Mew, because we are gonna heavily rely on the Dedenne GX to get of course our deck fastened up and our setup, so that's why we need to rely on Mew from Unbroken Bonds, because otherwise Pikarom will definitely have an awesome time. They can one-shot Rayquaza simply by using Electro Power Full Blitz, and then they can finish the job later by sniping the Dedenne and taking another KO on Rayquaza. So definitely need that Mew here. Alright, now that we have our Pokemon established, let's check out the supporters. Again, here I am with 4 copies of Lillie. Because we are a little bit of a setup deck in the form of Naganadel, we want to be getting that Lillie on the first turn. Hopefully we will get it. If not, we have other supporters which are typically even as good as this guy, because sometimes we just use the Dedenne, draw into the Lillie manually, so that's why there's 4 Lillie in here. You might include things like Pokegear, but you don't need it. The reason for that is that you typically have your opening hand, get your stuff on board, use a Lillie. If you don't have Lillie, use sometimes Dedenne GX and then get your Lillie, and yeah, your turns go very quickly in the first few turns. Then 4 copies of the Cynthia as well. 4 copies of Cynthia will make sure that we can refresh our hand whenever we feel like it, and yeah, shuffling sometimes is better than discarding with the likes of Sightseer. We have Sightseer, 1 copy of that in here, just because sometimes you have those huge hands where there's a lot of energies that you cannot get them in the discard pile. Sightseer can do the trick while just remaining all the solid cards in your hand. So 1 copy of Sightseer for Cynthia to shuffle support. We have draw, shuffle, and discard. So that's that. Moving forward, we're going to be running 4 copies of the Mysterious Treasure. This is very fantastic because it searches Rayquaza and it searches our Naganadel line, but also can get our tech card like Mew from Broken Bonds up and rolling. So these will definitely help out. Not only can you get energies in the discard pile very quickly with the help of Mysterious Treasure, it also helps search our Pokemon out. Then 4 copies of the Cherish Ball. You might wonder why 4. It searches Rayquaza, it searches Zeraora, and it searches the Dedenne GX. You might wonder to include something like 1 copy of the Electromagnetic Raider, but in testing, Rayquaza almost always discards that with Stormy Winds, and having 4 Cherish Ball is way more consistent since it searches globally. We have Rayquaza, Zeraora, and Dedenne, which we can search out. And Cherish Ball is just so fantastic to use. I just love the card with Rayquaza. Get, of course, Rayquaza, smack it down, and go very quickly. Next up, we're gonna be running 4 copies of the Acro Bike. This will make sure that in the early phase of the game we can get, of course, a supporter, because we only run 9 draw supporters. Can also use Acro Bike. Oh, we have a Cherish Ball, that means we have the Dedenne, which means we can go. So this deck goes incredibly fast if I haven't mentioned it already. The thing we want to do is just spam our board with a lot of energies, and if you use multiple Rayquaza Stormy Winds, if you rely on Naganadel every single turn, you're definitely gonna get, of course, a point in the game where you have a huge one-hit KO. 4 copies of that. Then 3 copies of the Energy Switch. I would love to include another copy, but I could only find room for these 3, so we are gonna just stick with that. Energy Switch will be the main way to get, of course, our energies. Let's say, oh no, they knocked out a Rayquaza, we don't have Wishful Baton anymore. We're just gonna rely on Energy Switch to get energies from, of course, our Naganadel, which uses the Charging Up ability, and we're just gonna swap them over to Rayquaza. The good thing is that if you smack down Rayquaza, you hopefully get already 1 energy, and an attachment of the turn, then Naganadel, Energy Switch, and it's up and rolling. Rayquaza can attack again and again. So 3 copies of that. Also, a fun fact, we are not going to be running any Reset Stamp, although Reset Stamp is an OP card in my opinion. The reason that we're not running that is that, yeah, very simple. Stormy Winds almost immediately discards that, and relying on 1 single copy to find it without Rayquaza discarding it throughout the game is a little bit inconsistent. I could also not find the room, so I just went for, opted to go for consistency in this case, for Acro Bike, 4 Treasure, 4 Cherish Ball, 4-4, almost everything is 4-4 in the trainer setup, so that's why we're deciding that. Also, there's no custom catcher in here. You might find room to just include it, but that way you can target whatever you want. But the main reason that we're not doing that is that it's a GX heavy meta, which means they often will promote a GX or a tag team, and then Rayquaza can go wild. Also, without choice ban, 1 price attackers won't be able to one-shot Rayquaza very easily. Fairy is also not too much around after rotation, so we're kind of safe with Rayquaza. It's a little bit more bulkier than it was before. That means even if 1 prizer tries to get the better of us, we can respond with a 1 prizer of our own, or just yeah, get 2 KOs with a single Rayquaza. So in that instance, it's good. And next up, 2 copies of the Beast Ring. Beast Ring is just such a fantastic card. I know there's 2 copies in here, but a single Beast Ring will help you. We don't have the choice band. That means if we draw into a Beast Ring when the time is right, if the opponent has exactly 3 or 4 prize cards remaining, that means we can rely on Beast Ring and get 2 energies additionally into play onto our Poipole or Naganadel, which means an extra 60 damage. Sometimes we need that extra speed and buff, so that's why there's 2 copies of that in here. Then for stadium cards, 2 Ultra Space, 1 Viridian Forest. You could even include another Viridian Forest if you find the room for it, but this is working just fine as it is in testing. Ultra Space can get, of course, Poipole out and Naganadel, our main energy accelerator, so we definitely need that. That's why there's 2 copies of that in here. We can also bump things like Shrine of Punishment, which can sometimes be very nasty, so that's why there's 3 stadiums in here. Bumping stadiums is important, and also for the setup, 2 Ultra Space. So with Treasures, Ultra Space, Cherish Ball, you're definitely gonna get your setup, and then 1 copy of the Radiant Force. It's a nice way to just get that energy in the discard pile. But yeah, you can also search out another energy. So let's say, oh, Rayquaza definitely needs his lightning or grass energy at that specific point. Just discard something and from your hand and search for it immediately. Then for the energies, it's very straightforward. It reminds us of the Vika Volt list. We're gonna be running 7 lightning energies and also 7 grass energy. So that is actually doing the trick right now. You might actually try and incorporate another energy so you can run more energies, because sometimes I do find it very hard when there's a lot of energies priced. The main thing you want to do here is get like 9 energies into play, which means you dish out 270 damage, which is enough to one-shot, of course, Mew UNB Tag Team GX, but also Rayquaza Tag Team GX. So that's fantastic. Against Pikarom, we only need 8 energies. And if you consider that we can rely on B-String, we can use a couple of Stormy Winds, we can rely on the charging up ability and the manual attachments of the turn, we'll definitely get there at some point. If not, try out, of course, the full voltage GX from Zeraora GX, which is also very fine to get 5 energies immediately. Okay, they might get a one-hit KO on your GX, but if they do that, you get a one-hit KO on attack team. So it uptrades very nicely. Anyhow, hopefully you enjoyed this list. You guys were asking for this a lot. I got a lot of comments lately about this list. Anyhow, yeah, try it out for yourself. Let me know what you think about the list. If you enjoyed the list, be sure to mash the like button. As always, that definitely supports the channel a lot and helps me motivated, get motivated to get more and better content for you guys on the channel. Anyhow, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace out.